These are the most dangerous prison inmates in the world. This is Jason Barnum from Alaska, USA. He was a known burglar, but that's when one day a cop tried to arrest him. Jason then tried to end the cop's life with a firearm. Thankfully, the cop lived and Jason was arrested, but he soon went viral for his scary tattooed eye. This is Joseph James DeAngelo, better known as the Golden State Killer. In the 1970s, he burgled 120 people and took 13 people's lives. He was only caught in 2018. This was after new DNA evidence proved Joseph was the Golden State Killer. This is Michael Campbell. He looked like this in 2003, but 10 years later, he looked like this. He was arrested for crawling into a woman's bed while she slept. I really can't think of anything scarier than that. This man is so dangerous, no prison would accept him. Meet Charles Bronson. He is said to be the most dangerous prisoner in the world. He's been in prison for about 50 years. He first went to prison when he was only 22. This was because of an armed robbery. Inside prison, he had many fights. He was then transferred to a different prison, but in that prison he tried to break out, and also tried to poison a fellow inmate. He was then sent to a remote prison on the Isle of Wight. In the next prison, he took someone hostage and demanded a helicopter and a cup of tea. He was then put in solitary confinement where he took a guard hostage. He was then moved to a Hannibal cage where he took yet another guard hostage. He was moved to another prison where he took 3 people hostage, and then moved to another where he took 2 more people hostage. Right now he's in the maximum security Wood Hill prison where he may remain for the rest of his life. Criminals who escaped from court. In a Russian court, this man tried to escape using the ceiling. This is 18-year-old Leonid Gracer. He took the life of his own sister, but thankfully his courtroom escape was foiled by police. In 2018, this man ran out of court. No one expected him to get away because there's a button that has to be pressed to open the doors. But he made a secret plan with a friend to open the door. You can see how his friend pushes the door button. This allowed the man to escape from court, but he was later arrested yet again. Look at these women leaving court. They were supposed to go on a prison bus back to jail, but these 2 women snuck underneath the bus. They then tried to run away, but unluckily they were caught by police who realized what they were doing. In Washington, these 2 suspects ran out of court. That's when the judge takes off his robe and chases these 2 men. Amazingly, the judge actually caught these 2 runaways. Scariest criminals in the world. This is Nico Jenkins. He may look scary, and that's because he is. He has lived a life of crime, but in 2013 he went on a killing spree. He took 4 people's lives in 10 days, even taking one of his victims' lives in front of their child. Nico was arrested and police asked why he did these terrible crimes. Nico did an 8-hour interrogation with the police. Nico said the people were sacrifices to the ancient Egyptian god Apophis. He was sentenced to 450 years in prison, but this was later upgraded to capital punishment. Another scary criminal is Richard Ramirez. Over the course of 2 years, this man took 15 lives. He gained the nickname the Night Stalker, and in court was given 19 death sentences. Here is what El Chapo's prison cell is really like. El Chapo is the leader of the Sinaloa cartel. He escaped from prison twice, but in 2016 he was finally taken to America's worst prison. That is ADX Florence. But what is El Chapo's prison cell really like? All over the prison, there are pressure pads to know where people walk. El Chapo's cell is made of only reinforced concrete and steel. There is a concrete bed and a small concrete stool. There's also a metal toilet and a metal shower, and the shower is on a timer. This is to make sure El Chapo can't drown himself behind bars. His cell is absolutely tiny, and it's also soundproof so he can't talk to anyone else in nearby cells. There will be no escaping for El Chapo this time. Since ADX Florence was opened in 1994, there have been 0 escapes. It's safe to say El Chapo will spend his final days behind bars. Secrets police don't want you to know. Police always touch the back of your car when they pull you over. This leaves their DNA and fingerprints on your car. So if something bad happens to the cop during the stop, then the vehicle can be identified and located. This technique has saved many cops' lives. If you're ever taken to a police station, they will offer you a glass of water. But you should always say no. That's because the drink can be used to get to your fingerprints and DNA. Because the glass of water is their property, they don't even need a warrant for your DNA. If you see one of these on your car, then be careful. It means the police are likely tracking your location. This is called a star chase. These are launched from police cars onto suspect vehicles. The front has a sticky adhesive and the back has a GPS tracking device. This allows cops to monitor your car in real time and know where you are. Longest prison sentences ever. This is Pudit Kitharadilok from Thailand. In 2017, he was sentenced to 13,275 years. This was for a fraud where he stole $160 million. This is Alan Wayne McLaurin from the United States. He was sentenced to 20,750 years. This was for taking the life of an elderly woman. This is Othman El Ganawi from Spain. He was sentenced to 42,924 years. This was for the 2004 Madrid train bombings. This is Chamoy Thipayazo from Thailand. She was sentenced to 141,078 years. This was for a $204 million fraud. Criminals who were haunted by their victims. One day, Fan Man Yi was kidnapped by a gang in Hong Kong. The gang said that Fan Man Yi owed them $20,000. She was interrogated for 1 month and eventually passed away. But after this, the girl in the gang, Ah Fong, began to see her spirit. Ah Fong said she was haunted by Fan Man Yi's ghost. Eventually, Ah Fong went to the police and said what she'd done. The police then arrested the 3 men. In 1982, Jose Ferreira was at a party. That's when he met 13-year-old Carrie Ann Jopek. Jose suggested they go down to the basement, but Carrie said no. That's when Jose pushed her down some stairs. Carrie's neck broke and she passed away. And for 30 years, it was a cold case. But during this time, every night, Jose was being tormented by Carrie's spirit. So after 30 years, he confessed and was finally put in prison.